Next one is a rare Golden, Colorado Fire Department antique real photo postcard. So the firemen are out front. They got $100 in an auction. There was 2 bids. Welcome to SMPostcards. Now today I do have an agenda down here. I always put up what's going to be in the video, and there is categories or chapters down at the bottom of your screen. If you're watching on a television, it should be there on a phone and stuff. You can skip to whatever you want in each one of these sections. The first one's going to be what sold. Didn't have a real good day. And I don't want to just stand up here and say $150 cards and $150, $300 days. I sold $1,000 today. There's days in reselling where you don't sell much. And today I only sold 9 cards for today's video. It's up and down. Reselling is inconsistent sales. It's just how it goes. Some days do well, some days do bad. I kind of work in a little bit below the middle line. That way I'm okay no matter what happens. So we'll go through those real quick. Then the special topic postcard today is Fire Department Postcards. There's one type of postcard I found sells for a lot more money than some other ones. So those are the ones you want to look for in this thing. Every Saturday I put out a poll in the morning between 9 a.m. and 10 a.m. Central Time, and it just asked the viewers of this channel different things about reselling postcards and how they do it. I've learned a lot from these polls. So I usually grab one of these in almost every video, and we talk about it, and I give you a little bit more information, my opinion about stuff, and then what other people say. It might help you with some of the things you're struggling with postcards, or it might be something you already do. But you get to see what other people say. This one is, what do you do with postcard albums? So when you go to a auction or you buy a lot and you get an album, what do you look for? I'll tell you what I do now with them. And some people do spend a lot of time with them, but I have made some big money from albums, finding a card in them. So we'll talk about what other people do. I get this question a lot and stuff like that. And then at the end of every video, I grab about 3 or 4 viewer comments. I just randomly go through YouTube, my emails, and I look for something that catches my eye. It's just totally random. If I didn't get your comment in there, doesn't mean I don't like you or anything like that. It's just I didn't get to it, or I just went over it. I don't know. And there's no rhyme or reason. I just look for stuff that's interesting to people, and if it's interesting to me, it might not be interesting to you, but some people it could be. So take what you want, leave what you don't. But let me go ahead and get started here on what sold postcards. Now remember, if you're looking for something to supplement your sales, or you want to become a postcard seller, this is a great channel to be on. There's other channels out there as well. Pick what you want from it. Here I got over 300 videos almost now on different things, different topics that'll help you out. Some of it's a little redundant, but if I keep repeating it, you keep hearing it, it helps people to retain and get better. Not saying you're going to be the top seller, you're going to sell everything I say. It's just a good place to come with like-minded people to talk about our hobby of reselling postcards. Or if you're a collector, this is a great place to look at different cards or how people sell them, how to get a better deal out of sellers. A lot of information here, and I try to give one long video on Mondays around 10 a.m. Central Time. Usually like this, comes out about an hour. I pull some snippets out of these for shorts every day just to remind you. We got Sal doing a dad joke on birds on Tuesday. Thursday's a little quiz about some term or something I pull out of a book. Is where these come from. I just don't make these quizzes up. These actually are from printed material, and I put those out there to kind of test it. I'll probably redo a lot of the quizzes at the end of the year and run them again, because people say, well, I missed that one, I missed this one. You can't know it all. Some of them I have never even heard of when I pull these questions. And then Saturdays I put out a poll, like we'll talk about today, goes out. Then Sundays I do a coming soon, like a next attraction, what's going to be coming in the future on postcards. So there's a lot of stuff on the channel that keep you busy. But the cards that sold today, God, 9 cards. Should I just quit reselling? That's what people think. They have down days, down weekends. They start resetting their whole stores. They start running around, putting sales on stuff. Me, I just say, okay, I don't have to ship that much today. It won't take long. If it continues, you might want to look at it, but continues mean it's going to be a couple months for me. It's going to be a 3-month trend. It's got to show a trend. Right now this year it's uptrend, downtrend, side trend. Things are all over the place, so there's really nothing I can put my finger on a trend. So I kind of hold the line what I did last year, because we got election year this year, we got economy issues, you got people being forced back in the office and all this other things, and people just don't have the money. And right now, summertime, people are out doing things. You got school starting in August, need supplies, you got kids' activities, just more important than buying a postcard. But we'll see. So the first set of cards sold, and there's a viewer comment about these Navy ships I'll talk about. It's been a while since I really talked about them, how I got them and stuff. But this guy bought 6 cards, 6 Navy ship cards, and for a total of $21.90. These are publisher cards. The Naval Club I bought these from printed and made some of their own cards, which I have all the rights and all the negatives and database and the drives for. I bought that with the collection. But they also went out to a publisher and they bought cards pre-made of naval ships. And that's what this gentleman purchased, was 6 of these. The first one here is USS Mayhan. Nice shot of a Navy boat. I keep these in order so I don't lose them. Next one is USS King. And these are all unposted, basically new cards right out of the package, but every postcard I do is used. I don't say new. I don't know what the original packaging is, whatever, so I decided years ago, everything's used. That makes it easier for me. No one can ever question. It might be better than what they expected. This is USS Dahlgren, DDG-43. It's a guided missile destroyer. This is the same ship, the Dahlgren, the guided missile, with a different view. It's got a little bit of weight behind it. So there's different things about these Navy ships. Then you got the USS Charles F. Adams, DDG-2. Some of them have the names at the bottom. And this is a nice Navy photo on a postcard. And the last one is John Paul Jones, the USS John Paul Jones, world's greatest DDG. So he bought 6 of these cards, again for $21.90. My cost of these cards, and I have a video about that, we'll talk about in viewer comments, is less than a penny. So I sold 6 of these, so I got about a nickel in this. And they paid $21.90. Next one, another Navy ship. Goes right along with the viewer comments today. USS Bunker Hill, CG-52. The Sword of the Fleet, it says on the back. Right on the back there. Another publisher card, $4.75. All my ships are $4.75. That's just, there's no reason, rhyme or reason on trying to comp and get a nickel more or 50 cents more. I decided a long time ago, everything's $4.75 for my ships. I bought them for a good price. I can put a price out there, and that's how it works. We'll talk about that. This is the Congress Hotel, Chicago, Illinois. Linen card. You can tell by the color, but I can feel the waffle texture. Unposted, that was $4.75. I know what that is. And then the last card I sold was the Main Restaurant and Sea Grill, Hotel Peroni's in Boston, Massachusetts. Linen card. These are like flea market or antique booth things. I don't try to take those off. That's part of the history of the card. That's not my price. No one's ever questioned me on that. That's $4.75. So the total I had out of these 9 cards is $42.08. Sent some offers. The gentleman bought 6, got the 15% volume discount. If you take $42.08 and divide it by 9, my average sale price is $4.68. So $4.68. But I also had somebody buy one of those starter kits. In the Ko-Fi store, I have this little kit. I get so many questions. What's a linen? Is this a white border? Sometimes the white border is linens I need to touch or see a little closer. So I get a lot of questions. So I put a little starter kit together that's in there. It has 7 types of postcards, the arrow, a little description on there. You get one of these little jeweler's loops that you can actually look at real photos for. It's got a little light on it. And if you see dots, it's not a real photo. Squiggly lines and stuff. If you don't, it could be a real photo. You get one of those, you get the error card, stamp card, all in one little kit. I just send out. I got about 15 of them left over there, and I'll just make up some more as I go. And people have learned from them, and then you can take the 7 cards and sell them and get your money back. So that's what you can do. And another person bought 3 of the rolls. I figured I got a Dymo here. People don't need to go out and buy a $100 Dymo thing and put the numbers on. They want to do the inventory like I do. Not saying this is the best, but if you want me to print out 1,500 numbers starting with whatever starting number, it's right here. It takes me a little bit to do it, but it's not hard to do. And this is the second round for Amy, and she picked those up, and I'll send those out to her, and that's 1,500 number labels that she doesn't have to worry about on there. So Ko-Fi came to $47.53 with shipping. I didn't go ahead and take shipping out. But Ko-Fi is separate to my goals every month. Ko-Fi is just for resellers, not a lot of margin, pays the bills, lets me buy more stuff for the store, and people buying stuff keeps the cost down for us. Because postcards, you need to get everything out of the margin you can. So it's about an $80 day if you look at everything. But where the margin's going to be with postcards, 50% or something like that. But this is a little lower than normal day lately on there. So, but I'm not worried. I'm not going to lose sleep. I just know I can have lunch a little earlier today. But that's what's sold. Now we're going to get into a special topic that I do every video. Fire department postcards. There's police departments, fire departments, government buildings. But fire departments is one that people kind of tend to go to, and there are some fire department ones out there I've gotten. They were reproductions. They just don't do well. But then there's some really good ones. Some disaster ones with fire departments out there. They could be a disaster card, or it could be a fire department card with a fire truck there. That's the crossover when how people look at the cards. Just like topographical and non-topographical. I don't even deal with that because eBay screwed all that up a while ago. But if you're looking at a main street and you use that as the subject of your card, is that a view card? And if you want to key in on the drugstore that's there, is that a topographical? You know, there's so many crossovers with it. It's not anything that's right or wrong. Sometimes just how people view it. Some collectors get crazy about it and say this is what it is. Well, it doesn't give me more money. I don't care. It's the subject of the card. Do you want it or not? And sometimes I just want to tell people, but I don't get too many of those people. Most people in the postcard world buy in and sell, and they're really nice people, nice community and stuff. But I'm going to go ahead and talk about a little bit about fire departments. Got a couple facts here. One about the fireman's pole that they had to use to slide down. And while I do that, I'm going to show you some postcards I found out there, sold or unsold or whatever, just so you can get an idea of what's out there on that. And then we'll talk about sell-through rate, the pricing, the extreme pricing, and then the average stuff you see every day. So it gives you a well base to start with fire department postcards and get your curiosity to start looking at those. As I've always said, once you start postcards and you learn stuff about postcards, you're going to start becoming more aware of postcards. A lot of new sellers say, where do I find postcards and stuff? 6-7 months later they say, Mark, you're right. I start seeing these things everywhere. So you'll once you get into it and it's something you want to do, you're going to see these things in the antique booths that you never looked at before. So many resellers tell me they never thought it was a thing, and now they're in it for 1 or 2 years and they're selling postcards every day and stuff like that, supplementing their other stuff. That's what the special topic, plus it gives me more catalog in my head of different postcards. Some of the stuff I know, but I never dug down like I do with these videos. So I learn just probably more than you do, because you get a snippet of what I find when I research these things. But let's go ahead and get started here. Here we go. Sure, fire departments have a long history, dating back to ancient times. One of the earliest recorded instances of organized firefighting dates back to ancient Rome, where a special group of slaves called vigils, I'll put that down at the bottom here if I'm saying it wrong, were tasked with patrolling the streets at night to watch for fires and respond to emergencies. These early firefighters used buckets of water and primitive hand pumps to extinguish flames. In the 17th century, after the Great Fire of London in 1666 destroyed much of the city, the need for more structured firefighting services became evident. This led to the establishment of the first organized fire brigade in London in 1667, a year later. Over time, as cities grew larger and more populated, the needs for professional firefighters and dedicated fire departments became increasingly apparent. In the United States, Benjamin Franklin is often credited with establishing one of the first volunteer fire departments in Philadelphia in 1736. For a couple of years, when I was young, first got married and lived in a small town here, I was a volunteer fireman, and I did go to the fire training and stuff like that, and fought some fires. On there I would take the hoses and stuff, and I drove the little grass truck once in a while. And I always had to have a white hat, a lieutenant with me, because I was just a firefighter 1 or 2, I can't remember. But that's what we did, and we did prevention and stuff like that. But it was volunteer. I had a regular job, but when my pager went off in the middle of the night, we had to go. These volunteer fire companies were made up of community members who would respond to fires when needed. As cities continued to grow, volunteer departments were gradually replaced by professional paid firefighters, leading to the modern fire departments we have today. Fire departments' postcards started becoming popular in the late 19th century when firefighters began using photographs to show off their bravery and their equipment. Some of those firefighter calendars they have with the bare-chested firemen, they're showing off their equipment, if everybody knows what I mean. These postcards feature cool pictures of firefighters, shiny fire engines, and big impressive fires being put out. People loved them because they showed how firefighters helped keep communities safe. As time went on, the pictures got even better, with more colors and details, making them not just informative, but also fun to collect and share with friends. Got a couple facts here. In some places, fire departments have used trained Dalmatian dogs. We've seen those on the fire trucks, the Budweiser things. They'll see a Dalmatian dog to help calm horses that were once used to pull the fire engines. The dogs would run along the horses, helping them keep them steady during the excitement of the fire response. Then last fact, the fireman's pole wasn't always just for sliding down quickly. In the early days of firefighting, before there were radios and telephones, fire stations used telegraph systems to receive alarms. The pole was placed near the telegraph room so firefighters could slide down quickly to respond to calls without wasting any time. Everybody knows what the fire poles are. Those are really neat brass poles and stuff. They're kind of dangerous if you look back at it. Someone just fall down. But it was a quick way to get downstairs to your stuff and get out. Because like the Ghostbusters fire department station, if you know the Ghostbusters, they have their ghost busting in there. They were tall buildings, so they had a second floor and a first floor with all the trucks, and then they slept in upstairs over there, and they had to slide down to go in there. Pretty neat stuff. But do they sell? A little hitch to this one, a little more than I thought. But this is a little chart. I'll go through it real quick. I go through it every video just for the new people and stuff like that. And other people have seen it before. But this is my little chart in my head. I look at sell-through rate. You take the sold divided by listed times 100, gives you a percent. You round up or down. And if it falls in one of these ranges, and I just take a 90-day snapshot at eBay. I'm not going to go in there and get to the last card. I could care less if it's 0.3% off. It's not going to sell me another card. I just want to know if it's something that might sell better than another. And how I do that is 0 to 3% are low. They don't sell as well. They'll sell, but they don't sell as fast. Then 4 to 10% sell-through rate is where I work. That's what I put out there. That's what I pick up mostly, and that's what you'll see mostly. But while I do that, I do find some 11 plus, the very high ones that have a better chance of selling than the other ones using sell-through rate. So if you take Postcard Fire Department, is what I put in the title or the search, there's 499 sold, 5,100 listed, times it by 100 gives you a 10% sell-through rate. So it's at the higher end of the chart on high. So it's still in the average green area and stuff, but it's a high. But there's one part of the fire department cards with pricing I think is a little more. So I would say it's right, it's 10%, it's in the high category. They're going to sell. If they're not reproductions or stuff like that. So I wanted to bounce it up against some other ones. Postcard Police Department. There's 70 sold, only 591 listed. So people are either not putting in item specifics or their titles, what they are, and I didn't pick it up. So that would be something you want to make sure you get in there. Police department, fire department, and stuff like that. 12%. So police departments are just a little higher, but I still say 10% is good for fire departments. So fire department's 10%, then fire trucks, because it said in the information I gave that they did trucks and equipment. So 214 sold, 2,600 out there, and 8%. And then I did the firemen, just the pictures of postcards of firemen. Same, 8%. So I don't think 10% is a bad number. So it's a high, it's an average. I'm going to pick them up. They're going to sell. I couldn't tell you when or how much right now because it's just sell-through rate. It's not a red card. It's not a real green card. A very high card. It's something I'm going to pick up. I don't have a problem. I wouldn't even second guess myself picking up a fire truck or a fire thing by looking at this. But then you get in, not sell-through rate, you get into pricing. I go out there and I try to find the higher stuff that we all want to reach for and find every day. Not the real high stuff, the ones that went crazy money. I throw those out. Those are one-offs to me. I come down to I see a consistent kind of area in there for the extreme pricing. And then we'll get into the average pricing, high watermark. So this is the high watermark of the stuff I think is the extreme pricing. Now this one I didn't throw out because I wanted to make a point here. This is a 1909 Fire Department Pioneer, Nevada house burning ghost town. Real photo postcard. They took a best offer from $850. What do you think they took? I could probably go to Terapeak and find out, but I didn't go down that rabbit hole. But that's a ghost town burning. There was a couple of these cards that sold in there. So this is really cool. But who would think it would be up in the $500, $600, $700 area? The key to the next two, this one and the next two, that you're going to see the high prices on that I found. And I was talking about real photo postcards of fire departments seem to draw the most money. So if you have a fire department, truck or fire or something like that, then you're going to see that. So this is a fire department, Pioneer, Nevada house burning. So with the fire department there. The next one is a rare Golden, Colorado Fire Department antique real photo postcard. So the firemen are out front. They got $100 in an auction. There was 2 bids. Real photo of the group. The next one is a real photo 1907 Battle Creek, Michigan. Horse-drawn fire department. Wow. I wouldn't put wow in all the flames and look and stuff. That doesn't do much for you. I think eBay just throws wow is what I heard. Postcard. Again, $80 best offer, maybe $70, $65. Real photos do better than the average ones I'm going to show you. So that's why I put 3 real photos here. When you see real photo fire departments, know you have something special that you need to do a second, third, fourth, fifth look at and try to get the most money you can. But then we get into what we see every day. What you're going to find in the things out there in the boxes. So here's 3 right here. Early Pocomoke City view, Maryland view of fire department, double horse-drawn brass pumper. That's not a bad title. I guess double horse-drawn brass pumper. Got $40 for it in an auction. There was 2 bids. That wasn't too bad with that one, but it's not $900, $100. This is what the high watermark for the average ones you're going to find. Vintage postcard, Danville, Illinois. That's just down south from me, 2-3 hours. Fire department engine, horse number 1, Peyton Palmer. Not for sure if Peyton Palmer is $30. Still a far cry, but you still get pretty good money for these. Horse-drawn fire engine, fire department, Camden, New Jersey. Oh, I just sold the postcard. USS Kansas, BB-21. Another naval ship. Who knew? The viewer comments coming up. If you hear some noise outside, they're doing some work, so now I can't stop it. And I wanted to get the video done. Hope it's not disturbing. So Camden, New Jersey postcard. Another one, real photo, $30. So what do you see here? $30, $30, $35 for your average high watermark of fire department cards. Would you pick them up? I will. Police departments, definitely. Fire departments, police departments. I wonder if animal control or wardens or DNR, natural resources, would do anything. I haven't looked at those, but fire departments is one card I wouldn't pass up. What do you think? Who knows? The SM Postcards Ko-Fi shop has a collection of postcard supplies to meet your reselling needs. From protective sleeves to envelopes and tantalizing postcard lots, we have everything you need to enhance your reselling experience. But that's not all. If you sign up as a member in either the white border or divided back tier, you're entitled to an incredible 40% discount on all items purchased in the shop. Whether you're a seasoned seller or just starting your postcard reselling journey, this discount is here to make your reselling experience even better. Stock up on top quality supplies. Visit the SM Postcards online Ko-Fi shop today and transform your postcard reselling to the next level. To see more, follow the link in the video description below. Okay, now we're going to get into the poll. I do these polls about every Saturday. They're just questions. And if you have something, a question you want to ask, and you think it could be a poll with some answers, send it in to contact@SMPostcards.com. Always looking to see what you guys want to ask, not just me. I pull these out. I'm going to be doing some polls. I'm going to go back a couple of years and start pulling on some of the older ones I did. And maybe I can compare them to the differences now, since we got more people on the channel, a lot of people out there reselling, been doing it for a while. See what the answers, see if anything's changed. That's probably what I'm going to try to do at the end of the year into 2025, is just compare what it was to now, then and now. This poll was, what do you do with postcard albums? I get this question in email and stuff all the time from people. They're glued in, they're stuck in, how do you get the, what do you do? It's not a dumb question because I had to think about it. So I thought I'd put a poll out there. So I gave two things here and another. Always got to give an other to give an out, so people can comment. Break up and sell cards individually, 89%. Sell album as a whole, do not break up cards, 1%. Other, it was 10. Me, myself, I try not to buy albums I cannot touch and see. I've got burnt with smoke. I call it attic burn. They're really crisp cards and stuff. Cards that are glued in. I'm not really worried too much about the little triangles you get on the corners and stuff like that. It hasn't seemed to cause any degrading of price or condition issues and stuff like that. Just a history of the card. But if they're glued in or taped in, I really don't do much with them. I'm not going to sit there and peel these things off and spend the hours just for a $4 or $5 card. Bunch of Halloween cards, I'm still on the fence with that because I don't want to destroy them. I might just get the album's good, I'll sell that album as a whole. But I've gotten some in lots and stuff like that. When I went to Brimfield and I found that one postcard album, that's the one I found, 3 Hold the Light postcards with that one I sold for $1,900. I paid 60 cents for it. So there's something you shouldn't pass up. Will I ever sell another card like that? Probably not. I probably don't have that much knowledge. I had a lot of friends help me with that. I didn't know everything about that. I just sold another card. This one is for $17.77. Gilbert Studio and Tailor Shop, Frankfort, Indiana. So it was a studio, Main Street with a thing, and I got $17 for that one. So I'm on a roll. So I'm getting better. I almost sold half of what in those 2 cards that I did when I showed this on this video. See how things go in reselling? So I'm very careful about albums and stuff. I have some friends that will take them and sell them as a whole too. Sometimes I don't want to ship them. I don't want to deal with them. I just send them off, and they, in their box and stuff like that. But I wanted to see what other people said too, and I got 5 comments here. The Rebel Depot said, I break them up and sell cards individually. Most of the time I will do that as well. I'll pull them out. I just bought 2 albums. They were the things where they slide in. The sleeves, they had 4, and they can put 8. And they were new sleeves, so I took them out, then I saved the sleeves, and I put them in Ko-Fi. There was like 120 or so. And I put them up there for like $10, $12. Someone might use instead of throwing them away or whatever. I put them up there, and some reseller bought them, just paid shipping for them. They were up there maybe 48 hours and gone. So watch Ko-Fi, that little store I got for resellers, on there, and the link's in the description, because I put stuff like that up there, and you can catch it and go. One time I had duplicate Halloween cards. I put them up there. I put 3 up there for a very good price. Some resellers probably going to triple their money on them. But I already had a copy of them, and I thought someone could use them and get them out there. But he breaks them up if they aren't heavily glued in. Yeah, some of them you can just pop off each one's a different story. If they are really glued on the pages, I'll research to see if there are any $20 plus cards and carefully remove them to sell. Yeah, I'm not stupid. I might do something like that, but not very often. Always happy when I see photo corners or dedicated postcard albums. Nothing worse than opening an album with cool cards to see it all glued in. Yeah, some of that glue, the paper becomes the postcard. It's just a pain. Thanks, Rebel. And then Blue Miles Ephemera, I remove the cards and sell separately. Another one. So two people said they if they can, they'll remove them. There was a time when I would sell the often attractive empty albums, but stopped after one of the albums turned back up on eBay a month later, filled with cards again and presented as an intact original vintage find. Which is obviously one. Yeah, me, I wouldn't worry too much about it. Once I sell it, it's theirs. I can't control the other people that do things that are a little crappy, but I wouldn't stop doing what I do on there. So you can't. I can't police them. So if they did it, they did it. So that's just me. But each person has their own opinions about it. That bothered me enough that I just now give them to friendly friends or collect them myself. Particularly attractive. Yeah, if it bothers you. I mean, people have their triggers. So thanks, Blue. And Cat D said, I usually sell separately. If they are not really high value or glued in, I will sell the whole album. Yeah, it's the same type of thing, glued in and stuff. If I can't touch them or feel them, I usually don't buy the album, even on online auctions and stuff like that, because I don't know. A lot of times they pick up smell too. On there, I've gotten a few there, and I have this one video about this crappy album I bought. If you want to see a crappy one, I paid some pretty good money for that. I made money on it, but a lot of people at the auction, my wife even said, "What did you buy?" Well, take a look at this here. It might help you. Happy Bunny said, "How to remove postcards glued into old postcard album? Is it possible to do? Just pull and hope for the best. Never dared but one yet, as I would know how to get the cards out." If anybody can help Happy with some stuff, I'm not an expert on it. I have the little Scotty peelers that used to take price tags off, and you can get underneath there. Some people have this soaking stuff for stamps and stuff. So what's the best way for Happy Bunny to pull something out of an album? I'm not an expert at that. It's probably why I don't do it. It just takes me, I end up destroying more of them than that. I couldn't be a surgeon. You wouldn't want me to be the surgeon or the doctor in your surgery, because I would probably end up nicking a vein or an artery, or taking something out that I didn't think, oh, we don't need this, we'll just throw this out. Thanks, Happy. Then Jungle Man 49, I'll break down the album if the cards aren't glued in. Again, glued in is the thing. And I think the postcards will at least meet my bottom price. Yeah, I have a bottom price of $4.75. He might have a bottom price $6.75. It's whatever it is. If those cards in his head from sell-through rate and pricing as I go through here, that's how you can use that and say, yeah, these cards aren't worth, I'm not buying the album. I definitely will sell albums that are loaded with Easter, Christmas, and birthday cards, and remove any patriotic or Halloween cards and replace them with a Christmas, birthday, or Easter. Yeah, it's the same theme and stuff like that. I've bought albums of maybe 400 cards, 300 cards, just for the 2 Halloween cards, or 2 cards in the album, and then I'll pull all the other ones out and sell them separately. But I'm just basically buying 2-3 cards in the album. I've done that. At the auctions lately, I've been able to get some really nice chrome cards. Are in great condition. The albums were fine. Most of the times you'll find they're better protected if they're not in an attic in a box where they get attic burn and stuff, or the older ones with the acid on the paper. I got 2 albums here, and I got like 600 cards out of those 2, and I paid like $100-something for them. So you're talking $2,000 worth of possible sales. And then I took the sleeves, and I got probably $6 after my cost out of them, but someone can use them, and that's what that's for. So what do you do with albums? If you still want to reply, the polls are always out there, but that's what I do. I don't spend a lot of time trying. I don't even try to get the paper off the back of postcards and stuff like that. It's just, I just take it as a loss and put it in the flea market bucket. The junk journalers, the scrapbook people can use it or whatever. I don't spend a lot of time cleaning stuff anymore or trying to do that. Especially like Jungle Man said, if it's not a card worthy of my time on there. That's the poll. Check them out. Make sure you subscribe. Hit the little bell icon. Right over here is a little button you can press, and it's real easy to subscribe to the channel so you can get to see all the stuff that's going on to keep you busy with postcards. while you're listening. It could be a lonely world out there listening postcards, just that. But these longer videos, just put them up while you list and just watch the whole thing. And when you get to a part you want to stop, you look up, oh, he said that, I need to respond to that, put a comment in. So that's how I use YouTube. Right now I'm working on some other things, and I'm out there looking at YouTube. My whole thing pops up with what I'm working on, and I'll go down the rabbit hole and I'll just sit here and stare at the video. Next thing you know, it's an hour and I haven't listed but 2 cards. So these videos I try to give you why you list. That's what the long ones are. Thanks again for participating in the polls. Viewer comments. Most of these come from YouTube or email. And I'm not going to talk about eBay. I'm not responding to eBay messages anymore because I've gotten in trouble twice now. But here's 4 comments. I just pull them randomly, like I said, on there. The first one's from SMPostcards, and they seem to be gaining popularity among collectors. This is from a little quiz I put out there. It said, what is 6x4 size postcards called? Something like that, and it's Continental was the answer. So Continental postcards are your 6 by, let me see if I can find one here. So this is a Continental card. That's not a good example. Here we go. This is a good one. So this is a Continental 6 by 4 inch is what it is, and this is a 3.5 by 5.5 standard card, and you can see the difference. If you can see that, I'm pulling them up. It's just a little bit different. So these are Continentals. A lot of times people said, I don't want chrome or Continentals in their lots when they bought them online. For years I would see that title, no chrome, no Continentals. Chromes are coming around. I like chromes. That's the most I sell of mostly is chrome. That's what I list. And I know Dr. Chris that watches the channel, he does Continentals. He does well with them. My other friend bought a big old box of them. He sells them. I have a lot of Hawaii and different things like that of Continentals. I will list them, but I'm more in the standard cards because they fit in the box better and stuff like that. And I have a lot of the standards, but I think SMPostcard, right, they're starting to come around. Continentals are just too newer to sell sometimes, but I think they're coming around, like he said. So it takes a lot to turn this boat a postcard, so don't expect next Tuesday you're going to sell 100 Continentals instead of standard. It just takes a while. So the older collectors and stuff have been doing it to hardcore. They didn't like the chrome or that. But I think there's some really neat ones out there. Thanks, MC. Then Jonas here? Joan is here. Maybe that's what it is. Apologize for any mispronunciations up front. Really like that you added the dates you listed it to give a real perspective how long these take to sell sometimes. In the funeral home video, every card I did on the what sold, I went in and I found the date that I listed because I have that on an inventory sheet. When I listed, I copied the title over, get the SKU number, and it has the date that I listed it. And I put that, I told you what that was on each of the cards. And like she said, it gives you a very good perspective of postcards are long tail. Most of the cards are going to sell up front in the product cycle, and then they're going to go long tail. You've got all these different product cycles, but they all end up long tail. I still sell cards from my #1 box from 2019. I had earlier cards, but when I did Whatnot, I got rid of a bunch of boxes. But my oldest card, I think, is May 2019. And in that box, I'm in that box every month. I'm selling cards up there and stuff. They're just sitting in the boxes, but the figure I used, out of all the cards I sold, when I did the tracking, 60% of the cards I sold, not sell-through rate. This isn't sell-through rate. It's the percentage of cards sold, how long were they listed, 18 months. Most of the cards, 60% of the cards I sold were in there for 18 months. The other 40% were in all the other boxes. But I noticed that in my graph that most of the cards sold were listed for 18 months or less is what it is. Not sell-through rate. Sell-through rate is different. This is just, I just wanted to see what the time range of the cards that sold, and it was 18 months. So about a little over half of the cards. Got something in my eye. And the other one's there. So you will sell them, and then they go long tail. Postcards are not an overnight thing. You will get a batch that are real good and you'll sell them, but most of them will sit. A lot of people talk about people putting up 10,000 cards a week with these automated things. What's that doing? That's fine. You put up 10,000 cards, you're going to sell a percentage of them because they're new. But once the product cycle goes and they go long tail, they're going to be level ground with everybody else. It's just how it works, and they're going to get discouraged because they're not selling what they sold up front. So if you do a listing festival all week and you put up 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 cards, you're going to sell a good majority of them. You're going to be burnt out doing it. Your mind's going to be mush. But give it time, those are going to go long tail, and you're going to be right back to where you were. So that's why I like doing a nice even thing. If I can sell stuff organically without doing all this sales and then relist and promote it and all this stuff, I can weather anything that comes in and stuff like that. So that's what I do. I take a little bit less money, a little bit less sales, but over long run I probably do a little bit more than some people that bounce around, and I don't spend a lot of time doing all that stuff. I focus on what I do best, and that's listing postcards and stuff. Thanks, Jonas. This question I get a lot because people can't understand how I can sell Navy ships as much as I do, and they're set. Me, I can probably say that about butterflies or pink rhinoceroses or whatever. Why do you sell those cards and I'm not selling them? It's just the way selling is. But this question was, I see from your videos you sell a lot of Navy ship postcards. Where did you get all these? I list some and they just sit and not sell. I have thousands of them. My closet's full. And how did I get them? Watch these videos. It's one of my earlier videos. Might not be the best, stuff like that. These aren't probably not the best cinematic things either, but watch that video. It was a Navy club. It was a listing on eBay. And it was a naval club that sold those, and the covers, the ship covers, they wanted, I forgot what the price was, but they said they would meet you somewhere. And they had this whole racks and racks of postcards, and you'll see that in the video. And so I talked to the lady and I said, well, I'll give you this for it, and she said, that's fine. I said, I'll come down and get it. I was going to fly down and rent a car and come and get it back. That's how many there were. And she said, no, my friend's coming up to Chicago to see her mom. We'll just load her car up and she can bring it to your house on the way. There was no shipping. I paid the lady $250 for driving them up here because her car was like this. When she pulled up, and you'll see in the video, when she pulled up, the back of her car was there, and it opens up and there's all the cards. We brought them into the house, and me and my wife, it took about an hour from the time they hit my door to the time I got them down in the basement. About an hour. That's how many there were. And it was just thousands. I mean, thousands of these ship cards. I got different varieties and stuff. They're all listed. They've been all listed. That's a couple of years ago I got that, but that's where I got them. I have less than a penny in these things. That's how many there were. I have the prints they did. I have the negatives from all the boats, and some of these are older boats and stuff like that. But I sell them all the time. I have hundreds of certain cards and stuff. So that's where I get them. And why they don't sell for you, I don't know. I just have a good following. I've built up a following on there, and I don't do all that stuff that breaks my links to Google. So if you put USS Arizona in Google postcard, it's probably going to hit one of mine. So if I did an end and relist and did all that other stuff, that link would break. I've never broken those links. That's another reason. So as you saw today, these guys will come in and buy 6, 10, 12 of these cards, 5 of these cards, because they're going to one of those conventions, naval conventions, or they're sending them to their buddies and stuff like that. Or they just want the mementos, and they'll buy. I've had people come in and buy $400 worth of these cards, and they ask for a deal, and I tell them I got buying discounts, but I usually take care of them. And I get a lot of good stories here, and I've been saving them, so maybe one video I can put some of these out there at the end and you can read that. But that's what it is. It's nothing special. I'm not a Navy guy. I didn't go. This little badge back here is from the mail service on the ships. I was not in the military. A lot of people ask me that. But I'm learning more and more every day about the Great White Fleet, stuff like that, and the names of the ships. I'm still learning a lot of that. But you don't need to know all that to sell a postcard. You just got to get the title, and they're really easy to list. Postcard USS Arizona, and the number. That's it. That's all they're going to look for. I don't need to put in there twin guns and all this information. They're looking for USS Arizona, and that's what they're going to pull on, is what I found. I experimented with a lot of that stuff. And the best price I found is $4.75, because these are cards, these are public domain cards. They've been out there forever. They're Navy photos. Most of them I couldn't tell you, they're not real old ones, divided backs. I got some photos too. So that's about the ships, and I'm very protective of them and stuff like that. So any more questions about it, let me know. Last question, I won a lot of postcards at an auction. Good. I guess that's good. Let's see what else it has to say. And the first box looked good, but each of the other 2 boxes were the same card. What do I do with so many of one card like this? Guess I'll have to look closer before bidding. I spent $150. So they thought they were getting a bunch of boxes of different postcards. The top one probably was a mixture, and then they got into some that were all the same. So when you see these big lots online, and you see the boxes, and you see boxes, sometimes they're all the same cards. That's how they ship them. I have Navy ship cards because they bought cases of them. The George Washington or the Ronald Reagan aircraft carriers. I have 2, 3, 4 boxes from the publisher sealed in my closet. I'll never sell all those cards. Will I ever lot them up and sell them? No, I'm not gonna. I'm not stupid. I'm not gonna go out and put them on the market for other people to sell too. Those are my cards. But I have boxes of those, and that's what these were, is all the same card. What do I do with those? For the ship cards, I kept them. I've gotten a couple boxes like that with sleeves in there. Sometimes I will list a quarter of them. I'll put in there one listing, you know, Aero View of Detroit, Michigan, and they're all the same. I'll do one listing and I'll put 100 in the box with a divider and put the rest in the closet. That's what I do. And I'll use some of them to lot up, because I don't want to flood the market with those cards and stuff like that. You can put them up there for scrappers and junk journalists. What would you guys do if you got a box, 2 boxes at an auction for the same card, and you got $150 into it? How would you get rid of them? How would you get those sold? Would you sell them in bunches? But then you flood the market. You'll never sell single ones then if they take those things. So what do you do? I mean, the market is huge. There's over 8 to 10 million postcards on eBay. These cards are probably already out there. Would you toss them? I don't know. Let us know what other people do. I don't run across that too often. And the ship cards I keep, I have a closet full of these things on there. And in the box, I'll put 300 cards in there, and then I'll put a card at the end, a little. I use these all the time. These are 6x4 real light index cards. That's how I write notes on for videos and stuff like that. And I use them as placeholders. And it says on there, more in closet, and I'll put the number, and I write that on the box in the closet. Haven't got that far yet. Still selling through. I've had to dig in the closet a few times, but they're all listed. Fire Department Postcards. If you got any, send them in to contact@SMPostcard.com. I got a show and tell coming up. It's like you're going to kindergarten. You get to show and tell a toy and stuff. Show us your stuff. If you've sold a real good fire department, real photo postcard, whatever, let us know. Send it in. We'll take a look at it. But that's all I got for today. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one. Here's some of my new fish. Bye.